if you're honest with yourself, well, if we are honest with ourselves, there are a lot of goals, dreams, and aspirations that we have that we want to achieve in life. However, there's this false narrative or this idea that, man, if we tell somebody and we fail, we'll look foolish, we'll look silly, and everyone will laugh. But if you tell no one, then that person that maybe knew somebody or maybe they had the help that could have gave you the push you needed to bring that dream to life and help countless of other people will never come to life. Today we're going to delve into a tool called accountability and how it can help us all to achieve the level of greatness that we're seeking to achieve. Welcome back to another episode of the Brink of Greatness podcast, a space for those seeking to reframe their failures, push toward success, and aiming to transform their mindset to more align with their God-given identity. I'm your host, Jonathan Marcus Thomas, and welcome to the studio of sorts. If you've been with us for any amount of time, we started in our office space, which has a lot of sentimental meaning to us. However, when we looked at it, it was like, man, trying to coordinate the schedule and record these episodes and bring value to the world. It's not really like there's some friction that we gotta try to break, right? So used to do videos in the car all the time because I don't know about you, but I seem to have my biggest epiphanies while I'm rolling in the car, going from place to place, from activity to activity. So we decided to move everything into the vehicle, um, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the space. That way, we kind of got a traveling studio, and if it's in the morning at the crib, I can just pop out here, record a video, and share it with y'all what God's put on my heart, and we can keep it moving from there. But no more need to be said about that. Just welcome once again, and I want to be before you for a good time, not a long time, to talk about accountability. There's two types of accountability that I have found in life, and before we go into that, there is a feeling or a thing that's normally related with accountability, and a lot of people run from it because they think that if they don't meet this goal, if they don't hit this mile marker, that they're going to have consequences or some level of punishment. Like if you're in a group, right, and it's like, oh man, everybody's expecting me to do this, and if I don't do this, then they're going to look at me some type of way or feel some type of way, and I don't want to damage whatever perception they have of me. But I don't know about y'all, but anybody out there who's a parent, I'm a father of four, and one thing that not gonna say wrestling with, but I'm going through a couple of my baby girls right now is the fact that when I am trying to provide any level of correction, realignment, discipline, if you will, they always see it as one thing. Particularly my oldest. The other one I call the middle. She real goofy, so she does what she wants to do. We working on that. We working on that. But a lot of times she'll get so upset when I'm simply trying to correct her because either she's had a moment where there was some level of discipline, and or she feels like she let me down, or it's like, oh, I'm not a good person. Da, da, da. It's like, no, wait, hold up. And this really had me locked into what God was preaching to me through that moment. It's like, no, I'm simply correcting you. I'm simply um pointing you back into the direction and the alignment that I want you to go. You over here punishing yourself, making yourself feel bad, and only thing I wanted you to do is to understand that you are going left, but you need to go right. The reason why we don't go left is XYZ. The reason why we go to the other direction, ABC. So when we talk about accountability, a lot of times people run from it because it's like, man, like this is really going to be a process. Like I have to show up, like because oftentimes we don't show up for ourselves. Let's just be honest with it. Especially as parents, as a father, a husband, a spouse, I should say, because it goes to everybody. You don't see yourself as far as you need to take care of that person. You see all the other people you got to take care of. You see the kids. You see your wife, your parents, siblings, everyone within the community, right? But then when it comes to you taking care of yourself, you're not doing it. So when it comes to someone else, you seem to be more aligned to taking care of them, making sure their needs are met. But you are a whole individual yourself. You have to take care of yourself. It's a whole nother topic for another day, right? So when we're talking about accountability, that is what um, a lot of people run from. A lot of reasons why people have difficulties with signing up for mentorship, signing up for um, uh, groups that you're going to be counted on for. And when you run from that, you don't realize you're running from these things that you see as negative, but the positive that you could receive, the gift is so much greater. The help, the assistance, the pushing towards your success and your goals, the help, the resource. Like you don't see all of that for whatever reason. We have been programmed to see all that negative stuff when all the positive outweighs it far and away. Because if it's linked to your emotions, it's like that comes and goes. So let's hop into these two different forms of accountability real quick, and then we'll end with a tool that I found helpful, and we'll put this in our toolbox and we'll keep it pushing. The accountability can be broken up into two different categories, external and internal. We kind of talked about that external. We leaned into that just a little bit when we're talking about mentorship and groups and things of that nature. Um, and I'll say the one that I think is the most premier to last. I'll say that one for last because I feel like if you master that level of accountability, out the park, out the park. Uh, External, you talking about your family members, and family could be loosely translated as if you're blood related, um, or if it's your community, right? Your tribe, if you will. So that's a level of accountability. If you have a job, your teammates on the job, that's another level of accountability. To a partner or mentor that has some level of success, that is another mentor, and that'll bring you a lot of structure. That'll bring you a lot of community when you're talking about your success and your goals and where you want to go. So the big thing about that, like we talked about before, you could either fail in private because you kept your goals to yourself. You kept those ideas to yourself. You kept that wonderful epiphany that you had. It's like, yo, if I did this or if people had this, I could provide it and this would solve so many problems. You kept that inside and you worked on it in the dark. Shine no light on it. The light being other people, other ideas, resources, truth, etc. And if you fail, it's like, okay, you know, it sounded good. You pushed it to a certain level and you didn't take it any further than that. You really don't have any. There's nothing except for an internal level of, man, I woulda coulda type thing. But if you put that out in the open, like what you're missing out on is all the different people, different ideas, the refinement that comes from that. Because you could have an idea, say it, and it's like, oh, what? I tried that before. Because what you'll realize when you get into these groups, a lot of people have something to provide. If like I'm not just talking about old anybody, like someone who was like minded and motivated and is along those same trains. I'm not talking about just in some, as they say, Joe Bo, Joe Schmo. Like you have to find the right people. So when you talk about a mentor, and I feel like this is important because we'll talk about family and team briefly, but when you talk about having a mentor or a partner, that is very that is a strong asset for you to have because take for example, if you're in the sports like me, Nick Saban is an all-time great coach. across the board. When it comes to college football, arguably the greatest college football coach of all time. And his teammates, his team, the players on his team, the coaching staff, the support staff, all feel a level of accountability to him. And one of the reasons behind that, the characteristics that he displays, is his attention to detail and how much he cares about the sport, how much he cares about the players. Some players I know he's changed their positions. He's done X, Y, and Z, but also in his results, he's changed their positions because of his experience. Your mentor, your partner, potentially has a level of experience that is different from you, greater than you, and will be able to lead you and guide you correctly. Just because you have an idea doesn't mean that you should just run with it. And I know we talk about beginning things, but that beginning is that idea. But like, you shouldn't just run with it blindly, thinking that no one can help you, thinking that no one has any level of insight that can help you refine that idea and make it better, make it greater. So back to Nick Saban as a coach, he got the rings, the championships. He has the results, and that level of accountability will push you. It can push you, and that is a reason why having a mentor, having a partner within your business, within your the structure of your success is very important, because especially if they have that level of success, they have the experience, you can glean from them something that you wouldn't be able to glean from someone who is a novice like you, someone who is able to help you avoid some of those pitfalls. That is one of the greatest things about being a parent, is I'm trying to learn and do as much as I can so that when they have the questions, when the time comes for them, I will have the answers for them. If I don't have the answers for them, I'll be able to point them in the direction. And before they get to a problem, not all of them, because yeah, you gotta learn. Sometimes you gotta learn stoves hot. Um, but figuratively, of course. But you you're able to help them not trip and fall over the same things that put you back 4 or 5 years, right? So that mentorship, that partner is very important to your success. So find who you need to find. If it's online, if it's in real life, wherever it is, lean into that. I submit that to you. Lean into that. So phone just overheated. Had to go back and figure out where I left off. This is just a part of the new studio, so we're gonna learn it live, right? We were talking about your mentorship. I'm saying because it was something that I didn't necessarily run from, but I didn't see the value in it. So I just want y'all to be able to really lean into that, and there's a lot of value there. So go ahead and let that sit with you, let that marinate, not for too long, and then go ahead and make it happen. So much like we were talking about sports, we talking about your job or your team. That's also a level of accountability, because there's something that you're going to be responsible for when it comes to bringing the whole uh, uh, goal to fruition. Everyone's going to play their part, and there's something intrinsic about not letting somebody down or just taking care of other people's stuff. There was something about they did a test, or an investigation onto the whole Airbnb thing. That's why it came to be, or why nobody really do it, because when you grow up, people say don't let strangers in your house, or people gonna mess up your stuff. But what they found was people actually treat other people's stuff better than they treat their stuff, for whatever reason, right? So that is applied in this case as well, because when you talk about other people's trust, other people's well-being, when you talk about a team setting, that is something that you want to intrinsically, it has been shown that people really want that to be something that they take care of and that they cultivate. Your family is another level of accountability. And your family, if you have someone in your family that's like-minded, it's a beautiful thing to lean into that and to build a family business, to have that legacy that you can lean into, and that is built for generations to come. So that is the external side of accountability. From the internal side, where there are two topics that I want to touch on, and before we talk about the a little bit of a strategic way to go about your goals and things of that nature. First of all, it would be to your God, to God. Um, it is not lost on me that I have often been like, God, if you get me through it this time, I promise I'll do this, 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 and this. That's a level of accountability, if you will. It's like, yo, like you do A, I'll do B, which isn't the right heart posture to have. However, it is something that I know I have exercised in the past. Um, their level of accountability is just to appropriately to look at it is to your creator, because like man, there's a level of appreciation, there's a level of gratitude, there's a level of responsibility that you have when you rest in the fact that you are a child of the Most High. You are a child of God. You are made in His image. His characteristics are your goals and aspirations to a great degree. When you talk about your ability as a creator, your ability to be the head and not the tail, not so much your ability, that's who you are. That's who you've been created to be. That is your identity. To be a holy priesthood set apart, to be the lender and not the borrower. All of these things are something that when you accept it, I don't want to call it a weight, but it is definitely a level of responsibility where it's like, oh man, I have this opportunity to be alive, to reflect God through me. So yeah, I need to step up. And in these areas that you tell me to excel in, to do everything as unto the Lord, not unto man, I have to operate in the level of excellence. And I'm going to be held accountable for that. At the not so much people say at the end of it, like in the middle of it, I'm accountable to that. So that's a level of accountability that we have. But ultimately, I feel like this last one is the key to all of it. We talked about a partner, business partner, your family, whether it be your wife, your friends, whatever it might be, your team at your job, to a mentor, like a coach. But ultimately, and we talked about God, ultimately, if you're not accountable to yourself, you're going to self sabotage, right? Because your internal programming doesn't believe what you said you're gonna do. That's why when you leave that stuff inside and then like you just sweep it under the rug because life got busy or your rhythms just got off. So you're like, I don't nobody know it. Like, cause I was gonna do this diet, I was gonna do this workout, I was gonna take this class, I was gonna get this certification, I was gonna ask for this raise, but then ultimately you don't, or you just be like, oh, okay, you shy away from what it is that God has called you to do or what you've been impressed upon to do because of knowledge and wisdom and guidance, but you keep it all into yourself. Because if you don't hold yourself accountable, you're just creating a rhythm and a pattern for your mind and body to constantly remember that this is not something or a voice that I need to listen to. Every time this voice says I'm going to do A, I do B. Or I'll keep doing C, want to do D. And it was like, I'm going to keep doing C. So that is a powerful psychological understanding that I would love to get into with you all because it's just really a matter of habit and principles and patterns that if you're able to set them in the right motion, man, you can create whatever it is that you desire. You can create whatever type of mindset you want. You can put yourself in the right space, but it's an everyday thing because you can always default to an old program, an old ideal, and then you're back where you started, right? So one of the one of the ways that if you have a goal and you want to make sure that it stays on your right in your line of sight is to do what they call a SMART goal. S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is achievable, R is for Um, oh crap! I should just look front page. Relevant time. Okay. So finally, I want to leave you with a tool. Um, a tool as far as when you talk about goals. Cause we talk about, oh, we need accountability, accountability. That's cool. It's like, okay, once I get the accountability, like what goal am I supposed to set, or how am I supposed to set to go about achieving it? So, one of the tools that we'll delve into at a later date is having SMART goals. Right? There's all these different type of goals. Like I think BHAG is one, like big, hairy, audacious goal, which is something that is so big. It's almost like the idea of 10xing whatever it is that you are planning on doing, or level of income that you currently have and desire to have. So I'll leave this with us, and we'll uh have this tool in our toolbox for a later date. SMART goal, SMART, is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time. And each one of those builds a framework for us to continue to um, have our goal in alignment with what we said we wanted, and also to give timetables and measurable dates with it. So specific means it's not general. Like, I want to be great, I want to be successful, I want to be happy. It's like, no, it's very specific. Like, keep asking the whys that get you down to the bones of what it is that you're trying to achieve. Right? Measurable means that well, let's say if you're going to get something to drink, you said, I'm going to drink water every day. Let's stick with that. I'm going to drink water every day. Well, okay, what does that mean? Because you can just take a sip and say that's water. But measurable would be, I'm gonna drink a gallon a day. I'm gonna drink 8 cups a day, or I'm gonna drink two of these canisters a day. That is measurable. Achievable is really doing an assessment, like you're assessing what you're doing, and making sure that it's an actionable thing. Like, it's an actual thing you can do. Like, I'm gonna drink 100 gallons a day. You're not gonna do that. A, it's not smart. B, it's not feasible. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you wouldn't have the time to actually do that. Like, what when you gonna be? You don't have no time to do no work, pick up the kids, do this, do that. It's not achievable. All right. So then you move on to the R in smart and relevant. Like, make it attached to something that you want to achieve. Like, you got the specific thing that you want to do, how many times or how much of it you want to do. Make sure that it aligns with your schedule, or shift your schedule. And the relevancy is like, why are we doing it? Like, what is the result that we're trying to get, and will it be beneficial to our overall well-being, and excuse me, not or and the being of others. So that's the R. And T is time. Time's like, all right, so you gonna start today, you gonna start tomorrow, cool. How long we doing this for? Oh, this is like a lot new lifestyle thing. All right, cool. Or if it's something you want to build up to, let's say, okay, instead of drinking a gallon a day, let's start, like, can we drink a bottle a day, 16-ounce bottle a day? Just drink one of those a day, and then have mile markers as far as when you're going to increase that to 2 bottles, or 1.5, and then 3 and 4, and up until you get to your gallon. So the drinking water example is just to help you get an idea of what a SMART goal is. Go ahead and look it up, do some research, and when you're writing out all of these things, the S, the M, the A, the R, the T, the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant time goal, you will then put your goal into perspective. And then when you go to a mentor, or you have a team, or when you go before God with your prayers, you could have this to be able to present, to have yourself in the right mindset to be able to go forth and achieve this thing, or get insight into it to refine it, make it better, and to avoid whatever pitfalls other people have had before that. So I leave that with you. I leave that tool, that SMART goal tool, with you. The mindset, and the realization that accountability is what we all need. I know I have a lot of workout groups that we send, like, hey, I worked out today, dog. I worked out today. All right, man. I see you, man. I see you. Oh, you put in some work today. How far did you run? And we just keep each other encouraged. That ultimately is the beautiful thing about it, is that you can encourage others and have yourself encouraged to push, to go further, and to be better. So with that, I leave you today in our new studio, and I just pray that everything that was said today blesses you in a way that is wonderful. You take this tool that we talked about, and you go forth and you take the next step. You lay that next brick along this journey, and you just remember who you are. Remember that you're great and that you can succeed in whatever you have laid out for your life, whatever God has for you. All right. So until next time, peace out. Y'all take it easy. Go ahead and like, subscribe, share, so we can get this message out to as many people as possible, and just encourage everyone on this road of life. All right.